Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
I mean, I'm lost for superlatives in a way, Dan.
Are you?
I am almost, because it's another successful weekend in the life of Exeter City.
Another one down.
You
Line them up.
line them up and Exeter City will knock them down.
Yeah.
Giovanni Brown will knock them down. Timothy Dieng will bosh them down.
Just finding a way.
Just finding a way. Newport County got a shiny new pitch with some weird surroundings on the pitch.
That was my only note for
You
today.
can't window dress a sticky bog, is what I'd say to that.
Well, there's no longer a sticky bog.
Well, the pitch isn't, but the city, of course, remains
Of course,
the stickiest of bogs.
Yeah. Why have they done that?
Which bit?
The yellow around the edge.
I'd imagine.
Presumably, they had the option there of going green.
Yeah.
Or going like, let's put our club colour around the edge of the pitch. It looks dreadful. It just looks stupid, tacky, cheap. You know, this is NASCAR.
That's maybe what the people of Newport are most used to.
Well, I mean, that sounds a bit harsh, but
I'm just putting it out there.
it looks terrible. I know if we did that, I'd be...
You know what Exeter's classy? We put a tapestry around the pitch.
Yeah, a Roman mural.
A Roman mural.
Yeah,
Lovely.
that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Until your boots went over it. Clack, clack, clack.
Well, you know, small price to pay, really, for a lovely Roman mural.
You could put a Turkish rug over the bit you walked out on.
Yeah, what's the relevance of that? Just classy.
Just classy.
Right, yeah.
That's what we do. You can't kick the ball too high because you might hit the chandelier.
Yep, I like it.
Anyway, classiness abounds.
Yeah, and I wouldn't describe the performance necessarily as classy.
I would describe
There's elements of class.
the getting the job done that nature
Yeah.
is one of class.
Yeah, I would go along with that. And I'd say some classy people on the pitch there. Can we stop saying classy now?
Sure.
Okay.
But it was a good win. Exeter City went to Rodney Parade and we did the Grecian dance all over it.
Yeah.
1-0 Exeter City.
Timothy Dieng, another goal.
Yeah. He really is the best on earth.
He is.
And
No
he is
doubt
what we
about it.
need. Dieng with the goal.
Belinda would be proud of him. And let's be honest, we're going to need him at Belinda Carlisle this weekend.
Very good. Very good.
Yep.
Plan that one ahead?
No, it literally just popped
That's
into my head
marvellous.
there.
Yeah, kudos for that.
I'm not sure. If I had, I probably could have fleshed it out a bit better. But
No, I
anyway.
liked it.
Okay.
I was thinking someone around the Go-Go's. Nothing. I got nothing.
Right,
You did
okay.
much better. Well, anyway, it was... they're promotion rivals, aren't they?
She was
Newport?
also in The Germs, wasn't she? And I would describe, the people of Carlisle as germs.
It was a bit hard. If my comment on Newport was harsh, I think
Yeah,
you've taken
okay,
it.
sorry. Just trying to elbow it in.
Fair enough. She wasn't in Elbow, though, of course.
No, famously, not.
Turned him down.
Yeah, I saw Elbow once at Reading Festival.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like kind of early on in the day, so, and when they finished playing a song, there was like no applause at all. You could just suddenly hear everyone just chatting. and the lead singer, what's he
Guy
called?
Garvey.
Guy Garvey, he didn't like that one bit.
Did he not?
No, he was very annoyed.
Was he?
Yeah. Come on, Reading. Sake.
Was it?
That's what he said.
That's it.
Anyway, enough of that.
Well, although Elbow are one-trick ponies, Exeter City are not, and neither Tim Dieng. But it was another of his kind of trademark crosses into the box, and he got his...
Yeah, sort of stooping header, and
Yeah.
look, it's hard to say which bit it comes off him. He's claiming it came off the side of his head, and it kind of looks like that's probably what happens. But hits him, and he gets himself on the end of it, and he actually kind of missed probably a cleaner chance a few minutes before from a corner. At the back post. This one was at the front post. Free kick whipped in brilliantly from Jack Sparks.
Yeah, who's been excellent, hasn't he? He's nudged Caprice out of the starting
He
lineup.
was superb on Saturday. So there's no, he'll, unless we go for a shake up for this weekend coming, and you'd expect Sparks to keep his place after that because he was very good and very good defensively too. At one point, it was Newport had some good chances, or some okay chances, and he really chucked himself in front of one of them and blocked him at the near post, down in front of the City fans. So first half, and yeah, what a good game we had there. In a way, I want to talk about defensively. We're sort of, it's more kind of poignant to talk about Jack Sparks' performance because we just come to expect just a level of excellence from Sweeney, Hartridge, and Sam Stubbs that you just kind of we're almost getting to the point where it's like that's just business as usual, them being utterly brilliant, which they were.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. What's happened, I think, with City is they've been all season. There's been pockets of real quality, hasn't there? But actually, that is raising the game of everyone else around them. They're like either thinking I've got to keep up with this, or they're just being inspired by it, or it's making their jobs easier, or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's just like everyone's just performing brilliantly.
I think it's so much down to that defence. Do you know what I mean? Like it, and just like being able to grind out results, which we've done a bit recently. That was a bit of a grind on Saturday and the week before. Just having them there, this wall. Do you mean especially aerially, especially Stubbs and Hartridge, but also their way to dig the ball out from difficult situations and not just hoofing it away.
No,
Hartridge and Stubbs can work the space to find a way to kind of clear it effectively, or and when it calls for it too, just absolutely win everything in the air, and Sweeney as well too. Like.
How many times, definitely several, we've seen Hartridge or Stubbs go away with the ball and you think, they're just hoofing this and the attacker's closing them down and they sell them a dummy or they make a really brilliant turn and the attacker's just knocked out the game entirely.
Especially carrying the ball out. We've talked about that a couple of weeks ago, but he's very good at that. And he finds himself sometimes quite high up the pitch and you're thinking... Get yourself back.
And that's the joy of three centre-backs, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, of course. And also having kind of three in the middle of midfield as well, so you can somebody can drop back in, can't they?
Yeah. It's working really well.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult at this point not to get too carried away, isn't it? But yeah, the performance was solid. The referee was pretty, what would we say, lenient?
He let a lot go, didn't he?
He let a lot go for both sides.
Newport weren't very happy. I've seen some comments and some...
Yeah,
YouTube.
There's a lad
vlogs.
who did a little vlog, isn't there?
Yeah.
And he, I'm not sure it was. Maybe.
I mean, when you lose, you're always going to feel like it is.
Maybe the other way. I would have. But there was nothing in the goal that that was. That was definitely a free kick.
Yeah.
That was one of the clearer ones. For the goal, but yeah. So Zanzala kind of gave away less free kicks, probably because the ref was giving.
And he was up against Dimitri, right, wasn't he? So having a right old Barney. Not, just a tussle, I suppose, constantly, weren't they?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just the same thing with Zanzala, as it's been in recent weeks. He's like, it's a thankless task, He's not going to catch the eye, but he's actually doing, I think, a pretty good job. Now, obviously, we could ask for more, So if he had a kind of a bit more guile or a bit more pace or something like that, he'd be twice as useful. But given that he kind of, it doesn't look like he's that kind of player, Sam Nombe. What he does do, he's doing very well.
Yeah, and Matt Taylor's worked out obviously with him how that's going to work, and it's doing what we could hope for, isn't it? You're right. He's not Nombe, but actually we were never going to replace Nombe. We're lucky to have him at all.
Like Zanzala to me, is it like he's not a goal threat, is he?
Not often.
Not really.
No.
Like I said, I still. If he keeps playing, I expect maybe he'll score, But ultimately, the job he does is a different one to that.
Yeah. It's been good he got that first goal.
So no Matt J in there.
That's interesting, isn't it?
And Taylor's basically just said that it's like...
Well, Rowe kept his place, and he said that, didn't he, the week before?
So Rowe kept his place, and then, he wanted to bring Tim Dieng back in there because we're playing Newport. They're a physical side, and... Well, it paid off, didn't it? Because obviously Tim Dieng scored the winner. But also we kept the midfield pretty quiet. I think the first 20 minutes we kind of had a lot of the ball and we kind of looked like we controlled it. Then we kind of lost that towards second half of the first half. Mm-hmm. And then a few mistakes. We got Callum Rowe especially was getting very pushed around. There was one point where he got pushed off the ball fairly and they went through for a one-on-one and was Dawson made a really good... No, it was Archie Collins managed to get himself back,
right,
didn't
yes,
he?
He did.
Brilliant that was. And just stop that kind of that chance. But then, you're thinking maybe Rowe comes off at half-time or early on in the second half and Matt J might come on or something, but Taylor sticks with him and Rowe is so much better in the second half. And you just think, what a brilliant kind of solution to that would have been. I mean, he's someone who's playing about a team about as tough as they kind of get at this level, and like struggled, but then second half took on that information, and you kind of think like that just shows his ability to kind of like listen, learn from what your manager's saying, and then to put it into action. And he was excellent second half.
He's been a real asset coming back in, hasn't he? And
hasn't he?
Seems to be growing every game.
Yeah, I mean, Nige is back next game from suspension. I'd suggest we don't use him unless we absolutely have to.
I would second that suggestion. I thought it was interesting. Matt Taylor wasn't up for. Do you see this interview afterwards? The game, whoever was speaking to him, I guess it was Craig, was like, Newport good on the counter attack, and he was like, "No, I'm not. I don't believe that. I don't think that's the case." I really like Matt Taylor because he shut it down and was like, "No, that's not the case. They're a really good team." But then he kind of apologised. I'm really sorry about that, but that's not what's going on. And I was like, "Oh, I really like this guy. He's so straight speaking, but not horrible. Not John Yems. Just like fair and honest." But also respectful. And I thought, great. But, they were a really good team.
He's never going to embarrass you, is he, Matt Taylor?
No, is he heck?
Yeah. No. And, like, made all the calls right. Like I said, that's, like, credit to Callum Rowe. But it's a big call for Matt Taylor to keep him on when, that's going on. And
did Jaden get on at all?
Brilliant one. No, which means he's fresh. And it also means it's nice to have, even with the injuries that we've got and had all season, to be able to kind of like create that thing where you now got your captain and top goal scorer unable to get into the side. That's going to give him, what you'd want there is for that to give Matt J kind of like that kind of like desire to get himself back in the team and prove that he should be playing,
Yeah.
Because he has been off form since probably Christmas, really.
There's been the odd game, hasn't there, where he's been really good. But, I mean, I also think part of the question is around, I don't know, I just think in previous years, the whole thing's kind of been shaped around Jay, like because he was our best player, especially when Law went. Was that last Christmas? Yeah.
Yeah. So all of last season, really, I'd say Matt Jay was kind of like.
Agreed.
I mean, you got Bowman. You had Bowman too, but yeah, like.
And then of course Brown, Dieng, Nombe. That's a big old change. And so I think, although it's funny, isn't it? Because there've been pockets where Jay's been brilliant, untouchable.
Yeah, and he's still the top goal scorer.
And then there've been other times where you're like, he's entirely missing. And I suppose sometimes it's just to do with how the opposition plays. And obviously, the more on paper, he still looks like the real threat. So they double up on him. They think he's the main. Obviously that suits Dieng.
Yeah,
or
of course.
Whatever.
Like I was saying, it's still like it's a good position to be in for us, isn't it? Like and for him. So
where are we on injuries? So obviously Nombe.
Still no Nombe.
Kite.
Still no progress on that. Ground still out.
Yeah.
Dieng's back. Nigel's back. Who else is there? There's another one, isn't there?
Diabate, is he injured?
No, Diabate's he's good.
It's because Hartridge was injured, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But now he's back. Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe we're missing someone. Yeah. Anyway, was just exactly what we needed. I think you and I spoke, and we were like, if we get 4 points from the next 2 games, that'll be really good.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've already got 3 now in the bag.
I think we would have, like we were saying, and a lot of people would have said, a draw there would have been all right, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
But we did better than that,
It's just been. Well, it's not that they've exceeded expectations. It's that they've surpassed.
They have exceeded my expectations.
Well, fair enough.
We'll come to that when we get to the everyone's beginning of season predictions.
Yes, indeed. I think it's more that it's true they've exceeded expectations, but they've also kind of surpassed the requirements. Does that make sense? I know that's kind of different to expectations. Like, here's what's required here, lads. We're very pleased with this. If you do this, we can't say fairer than that. And they've done more than that.
Yeah,
almost
recently.
Every time.
Well, I think what we had was that amazing run of 20 unbeaten games.
Yeah.
Then we had that kind of Christmas from hell.
Yeah. And then knocked out by COVID.
Yeah. Well, we all got knocked all out of the. I mean, we were dropping right down out of the contention, and then we managed to at the right time. And we were thinking at the time, is this a bit too early to be coming back into form? But we've managed to maintain it so far. I mean, there's still 7 games to go.
What were we, 9th at one point? I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tight up there that you could kind of like ping between 9th and 4th, like week on week, can you? Pretty much. You know? So,
but in the past, we've been in that position where we're like, well, it's very close, but slowly we drop down, and this time slowly we've knocked up, and we've been looking around for the other results and been like, oh, that's a shame. Most teams have won.
well, that's the thing that's been happening. Yeah. So there hasn't been.
There's no leapfrogging.
As much as we've had this excellent kind of run of recently where we've been very good, we've only lost that one game at Port Vale.
Yeah.
No, sorry, at Mansfield.
Mansfield, yeah.
And we've been very consistently kind of getting the points where we can get in difficult away points and winning at home and, blah, blah, blah. But we hadn't seen a kind of like anything open up where any distance between us and our competitors. I mean, we seem to be still in the pack of everyone else. I mean, because it would be like some team would drop points, but then they would win the next week and blah, blah, blah. And finally now, I mean, it's still super tight, even for us, but there is now a little bit of a kind of, shifting of the tectonic plates.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But first, we're going to have a break. Welcome back to the Big Bang Theory podcast. Remember, you can get in touch with us in all the normal ways. We're on email, bigbangpod@gmail.com. We're on Facebook, the Big Bang Theory podcast, and we're on Twitter as well, @BigBangPod. We'd love to hear from you. How you're feeling? What are you doing to calm the nerves?
Well, I'll tell you what I was doing to calm the nerves after we scored that winner at Newport was trying to distract myself for the rest of the game because I couldn't bear it. Just couldn't
cope.
I was just looking at stuff on my phone, just kind of anything to sort of like, I was still kind of conscious of it. But I was trying to put it in the background so I could, because it was just too much.
Yeah,
couldn't take it.
It's hard, isn't it? Away games, it's different being stood there. I find.
Of course, I didn't manage to get a ticket for it, as you can probably tell, so I wasn't there. But yeah, when you're there, you feel like you can affect the game a bit. I know you can't. Well, you can. You are. Obviously our fans are making a big difference, especially when they go away and at home. But on a personal level, you feel like you are helping, or somehow that your presence there can make more of a distance. Where if you're watching it or listening to it on the radio, I always feel a bit more powerless.
I understand. I also think the radio sometimes, and TV, like anything, but particularly radio, I was listening on the radio, like the silence, or they're not telling me what's going, like I need explicit instructions.
Yeah.
Archie Collins has just been tackled, but don't worry, he's a very long way up the pitch, or whatever. And in those silences of like, Archie Collins has just lost the ball, I'm like, oh no! And they're like, it's fine. Yeah. The ball went out of play. But you're like, what? I'm freaking out here. So yeah, anyway, how are you coping? I hope you're all right, listeners. Let me tell you why you might be. Here's the league table, Dan.
All right.
Forest Green at top. They play this Tuesday against Mansfield. We'll come on to that in a minute. They're top on 38. So in a minute, they'll be on the same games as us. They've got 75 points. Then Exeter City and Port Vale both played the same amount of games. Exeter City are on 71 plus 21. And Port Vale are on 66 plus 22. So we're pretty much on the same goal difference as Port Vale.
Yep.
It'd be really nice to get a 3-0 in that.
But we are 5 points ahead.
But we're 5 points ahead.
So we're 5 points ahead of third.
Yes.
But we're also 5 points ahead of fourth, right?
That's right. So then 4th, 5th and 6th, which is Northampton, Bristol Rovers and Mansfield, are all on 66 points. Mansfield have played one less than us. Bristol Rovers and Northampton have played one more than us. Obviously, Mansfield will play Forest Green in a minute. Then in 7th, it's Tranmere. They've played 40 and they're on 64. Newport are just outside the playoffs, played 40, 63. Then it's Salford on 62, Swindon on 62, Sutton on 61. Then it drops right away. Hartlepool are 9 points behind Sutton. So really, it's 11 teams at the top, all pushing for automatics or playoffs. Obviously, Sutton will feel like, well, maybe they won't, but probably automatics are out of their reach.
Yeah.
They're 5 points behind Port Vale. We're as close to Forest Green as we are in first to Port Vale in third. In fact, we're a point closer to the top of the league.
Yeah, we're closer, actually, aren't we?
So their game against Mansfield's a big one. The other thing to say, I suppose, is that Forest Green have a much better goal difference than anyone else.
Yep.
Us and Port Vale are basically the same, and then everyone else is significantly worse than us.
Yeah, that might be crucial, mightn't it?
Well, it certainly might be crucial,
Sort of
given
too
there's all
early
those
to
teams
say,
on
yeah.
66 points. Yeah. So that's where we are. So 7 games left.
I've been looking at all the run-ins. There's not much between it all, really, in terms of who's got the hardest run-in. It's all a combination of having to play teams around you and teams who aren't nowhere near.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean much, does it? Do you know what I mean?
Here's the fact.
Forest Green just about managed to beat Scunthorpe at the weekend, who are rock bottom, relegated pretty much, So
I watched the highlights of that, and they looked lucky to get through it, to be honest, Forest Green.
Yeah.
So here's the facts. 17 points from a potential 21 will guarantee us promotion, right? But that would give us 88.
I think that would probably mean we won the league, wouldn't it? 88
probably would.
points.
Yeah, probably would. So to give you last season's league table, if you're interested, as a comparison, Cheltenham came top on 82, Cambridge came second on 80, Bolton came third on 79. Now, Forest Green are looking better than that, I would say. I think they'll get more than 82.
Yeah, they got 7 games, 8 games left, right?
They've got 8 games left. We've got 7.
Yeah. Even with because you got to take into account that so many people have got to play each other.
Yeah,
I think we won't need anywhere. We wouldn't need anywhere near 88 points to get promoted automatically.
I would think. Well, 9 points gets us 80, right?
Yeah,
and I think probably a couple more than that would see us up.
Probably 80 might even do it. Who knows?
Who
There's
knows?
a lot to go on. I mean, Mansfield have got to play Forest Green twice.
Forest Green got to play Mansfield twice.
Yeah.
Port Vale are playing Salford, who aren't slouches. That's away at Salford.
Salford are in superb form as well.
That's Tuesday. So that might see Port Vale off, might not. Obviously, like we were a couple of weeks ago, they can still lose and stay third.
Yeah.
And then at the weekend, the big ones, I suppose, are Northampton, who lost on Saturday. They got to play Bradford. And then after that, some of the big ones are Swindon, Newport, Tranmere, Bristol Rovers. And then it ticks on, But even Forest Green going to Barrow. Barrow are in danger.
Yeah, they got to play Barrow. They
That's
got to
a
play
hell of a
away.
drive.
They got to go to Barrow. They got to go to Swindon. They got to go to Bristol Rovers. There's so much to go. That's why I can't bring myself to get involved in any. What's League One going to be like next season?
No,
kind of chat.
I couldn't do that.
Which I know this is tempting. Do you know what I mean? And it is. But we've been in this division for 10 years. Let's not go counting any chickens yet.
My son was like, I was talking to him about it and explaining like the league pyramid, and he was like, well, "What happens when you get to League One?" And I was like, "Well, you play all the teams in League One." And he's like, "Is that it?" I was like, "Well, yeah, but it's better than that." I was trying to convince him of how exciting it was.
Yeah, I can't think of what's an analogy that you could give for that.
I don't know. It's just better up there. I was saying.
No, but you're on a it's a step in a direction, isn't it? Do you mean it's a?
Oh, that's good. That's a good way of thinking of it.
If you walk into John O'Groats,
yeah,
it's crossing it's getting to
the Midlands.
Maybe Bristol.
Maybe. So
Avon. Bristol's a county, isn't it?
Oh, it's all very confused these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
It used to be North Somerset, used to be Somerset, used to be Avon. Now I think it's his own county again, isn't it?
Madness.
I'm just happy. I'm so happy to just be in a county that's always been a county, aren't you?
Well, now you mention it, yeah. It doesn't cost me much.
Doesn't it?
No.
Dan, here's what's important about all of this, though. Exeter City just keep ticking the games off.
I know. Yeah, that's the encouraging thing, It's
if we go to Carlisle on Saturday and we get some in, and I mean anything, actually, we think another one ticked off. We'll still be second on Saturday, whatever happens.
I know, that's nice, isn't it?
Isn't that nice?
Bearing in mind a couple of weeks ago, any result, like a draw could have dropped you from 2nd to 9th or something. Do you mean a couple of weeks ago?
I don't know if I'm actually right on that because Port Vale are playing tomorrow, aren't they? But still, I think a point would mean we were still in second.
Right.
It's very close, but we definitely wouldn't tumble away.
No.
Whew. So Carlisle then.
Carlisle away. Yeah.
We've had some good
miles to go.
Yeah, flipping miles. Really nice that we've not had a Tuesday. So we'll set off on the Friday, presumably.
We beat them earlier in the season 2-1.
Yeah.
If you remember, that was at home. That was the game where Jake Caprice scored his career goal.
His career goal. How many games has he played to get one career goal?
It's something like 400 odd.
Good Lord.
Um,
But, if we get promoted this year, he'll think, yeah, that was worth it. That was.
And it ended about goals. He has been very useful.
That's true.
And we might also, other reasons for remembering that match. If you go back to it, was
Nombe.
Nombe scored. It was the one he basically kind of like got the tiniest of touches off Jonathan Grounds' long range effort.
That's right.
And then Nombe kind of peels away, pointing at himself, going like, "No, John." That's my goal.
And then Caprice scored, didn't know what to do, did he? He's kind of ran around in a circle and then did a weird symbol at us.
Yeah. So that was nice.
We've had good fortune. Like, in my mind, Carlisle are like a difficult team.
Well, that's because our last trip to Carlisle, we lost.
Okay. But also, I remember the playoff season where we had them in the semis, the Jack Stacey year, and I think I'm right in remembering we couldn't beat them pre-playoffs. Then we drew with them.
I think
at home.
when we
Is that right?
we drew them away in the first leg of the playoffs 2017,
and I think we'd lost to them in the league a couple of times.
Yeah.
That was Keith Curl's year, wasn't it?
Yeah, at that point they were a bit of a bogey team of us. Since then, we've only lost to them once, which was last season.
Okay.
This exact fixture last season, actually.
Right.
But before that, since the playoff final, we've had very good results against them. So, I mean, none of that means anything. This is basically it's a very different team,
Yeah. So we're off to Brunton Park.
Yep.
Where it always looks cold. It gets flooded, doesn't it, there often, if ever there's floods.
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
so we're talking about a bog now, are we?
Could be. Although there's not been a lot of rain, has there recently, I suppose. Managed by Paul Simpson.
Never heard of him.
He's been around a bit, hasn't he? He played for Manchester. Who did he play for?
Anyway,
really remember.
They got Brennan Dickinson.
Yes. We just got to go and do what needs to be done.
Tick it off.
They're in good form, but they're not. That form was kind of to get them away from the relegation zone, really.
Yeah, they're no danger of
they're
doing
18th
anything.
On minus 18 on the goals, which is like fourth worst in the league or something.
Right, yeah. They're not going down, but they're not doing anything else.
No.
But those are dangerous games too. It doesn't really. That's nothing at all to say.
I tell you what, City aren't doing this year, which has been massively beneficial. We're not getting frustrated at not being ahead, 0-0, all that kind of stuff.
No, we are. Yeah.
Or even going down, although
patient.
that doesn't matter much.
We are very patient, and I mean, that's got to come from Matt Taylor, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And also the side that he's put together. A bunch of kind of like people who don't let things get to them,
Yeah, they really don't. I mean, Zanzala's the one, I suppose, who maybe does, but the rest of them, very level-headed.
Yeah.
Absolutely splendid. So then it's Carlisle. Then we'll be back next week. But then we've got the old Good Friday, Easter Monday.
The Easter bonanza.
Yeah.
2 halves of an Easter egg.
We'll go hunting for...
points.
Oh, yeah.
Promotion.
Yeah, we hope to spring into action.
The great Easter egg hunt.
We'll hope to roll the stone away.
Whereas you open up your Easter egg, crack it open.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've talked about what should and shouldn't be inside of Easter eggs before in the past.
Yes.
But inside this year's Easter egg, if we can get inside it, is a lovely season in League One in a little plastic bag.
Yeah, great. I mean, that could potentially end of the Easter weekend. We could have a much better idea what it's looking like, couldn't we? We'll only have 4 games left after that.
Yeah, every time we play a match or anyone plays a match now, is a little bit more of the magic eye is revealed to us. I don't know why I keep making these ridiculous.
I liked it.
Something like a magic eye.
But Dan,
if you don't know what a magic eye is,
am I right to say that Port Vale end of the season is almost too late? Like, I know something might be decided by it, but in a sense, what am I saying? This is in a way this is stupid, but probably Port Vale will either have thrown away our good lead or will be well established. And I'm not saying that game won't be vital, but do you know what I mean? It's not.
Well, yeah. I mean, but in a way, that's just as likely, given how many games there are left. There's every chance that game could be the difference between us finishing 4th and 3rd. Do you know what I mean?
True.
That's very, very possible.
I guess what I don't feel the pressure about there is that it's home, whereas Tranmere away.
Is that the one you're worried about? Yeah.
I'm worried about Tranmere away. That's the big thing in my mind.
Okay.
Because, Carlisle could be tricky. They've had some good results. No, sorry, not Carlisle. Yeah, Carlisle could be tricky. They've on a good run of form. Colchester could be tricky. But we should be winning those games. Tranmere, I just don't know. I've got bad memories up there of, in fact, when George Ray ploughed into the
Did we lose that one?
I think we lost that one. I feel like we've lost quite a lot up there.
Okay.
I haven't got the stats to back it up.
No, I can't remember anything. We might have beaten them.
That's
4 in a row.
That's where my positivity is being shrouded. Prenton Park looms large over it.
Right. I just can't bring myself to think anything at the moment.
Correct.
Can't think. Just have to kind of put it out of your mind. But I can't as well, because after with the Newport game, I was just sort of like, just on this kind of like mining for more information. Do you know what I mean? Just all over the place. Just give me some more about this. Do you know what I mean? Give me some more about Exeter winning. Do you know what I mean? Anywhere I could get it. Hopefully you're thinking that too, and you're thinking, I could listen to a couple of dweebs prattle on about.
Hey, enough about the other podcasts. We're here. Hey. Well, here we are.
Every week, baby.
Every week, prattling freely. Okay, well, that's where we are. That's the state of play.
Yeah.
I don't think much is going to change in the week. Obviously, Forest Green, those results could be interesting, but I think City, even keel from Matt Taylor, even keel from the players. Let's get up there and
keep us on that steady course, Captain.
Let's go and absolutely wallop them Northmen.
Yep.
I wonder if Bowman will come to this one. He'll probably be playing.
Well, he plays for Shrewsbury.
I know, but Carlisle's his own town, isn't it?
Oh, I see, yeah. Long old way for him to go for that, just to watch.
Fair comment.
Probably got training.
He's probably busy.
He will be.
Okay.
Thanks,
everyone, for listening. Get in touch with us, as always. And if we don't hear from you, we'll see you next week. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague, Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.